In my last video of recreating Murray's costume manor from Secret of the Mimic in Minecraft, we finished off the first floor by building the admin wing with the loading bay and the workshop and theatre. In today's episode, we're going to finish off the first and second floor by building the BigTop Showroom with the Storytime Showroom. The carnival environment of the red and orange mixed in with the dark blue and green of the Storytime Showroom is going to be so good, and I'm finally happy that I'm finally going to finish off the first floor and we can move on to the first basement in the series, being Dollie's hospital. So before we do anything, let's get a look at the environment of the BigTop Showroom. So now in Secret of the Mimic itself, as you can see, we're outside the BigTop Showroom in the Showtime hub, and if we were to go up here into the BigTop Showroom itself, as you can see, here's the save I'm going to be using to replicate it in Minecraft. And let me just wait for the game to load in, because it is very laggy. Holy frames. Alright, talk about the staircase right here. The mannequins are blocking it right now, but when BigTop does eventually leave through this skylight up here, the mannequins will disappear, so you can walk up there, and for the map's purpose, I'm just going to remove them. Can you shut up? We're going to just make it so you can walk up there. And also, as you can see right here, if we were to go back here, here's the door that would lead to the Storytime Showroom and how to actually open it first. So up here, here's the prize wheel area, and here's one of the other games that you can play, and then that room is blocked off for whatever reason. Can you shut up? Now, in here, we have the prize wheel. Be quiet. Alright, for the sake of the game, I'm just going to not play. Shut up. So up here we have the little areas, and as you can see right here, we have this little hallway right here. And over here is the Showtime hub, which would, like I said before, connects to this Storytime Showroom, which isn't loaded in. And this is the area we'll have to build to that would actually connect up to the hallway itself. Now, this is going to be fun to recreate, kind of. I'm just going to pause the game because you will not shut up. Alright, going back to the balcony. I don't think this room is going to be that difficult to recreate, but it does have a very weird shape. Same as these hallways, because they're mostly diagonal. Back over here, the area that leads to the roof access, and to get this upgrade for the data diver, we can go up here into this little security office right here, which has these windows, which is oddly fascinating because you can see out through them, but if you try and see in through them, it's just the PNG of the security office view into the warehouse for some reason. Do not know what's going on there, Steel, because this is always loaded in. If the window's loaded in the other side, I don't really get it. Now, this isn't loaded in because we're not actually here at the moment, but it will be, and just going right here with BigTop, we can now finally get into the build itself. Now, building the BigTop Showroom was super fun because it had a bunch of different colors, and it made me use blocks I've never used before. Like the floor, for example, is acacia, and I would usually go a mix of stripped spruce wood and stripped spruce planks or whatever, but I just thought maybe use the different ones. Like I also used sponges as well. I'm just using a bunch more blocks I would not usually use in this build, just to give it more variety. But I quite like how it turned out with all of the Showtime rooms with the banner. The blue mixes really well with the curtains, the red and white striped ones. It just fits so well, and then the contrast of those colors with the orange and red. And I quite like how the red isn't as vibrant as concrete, because it just gives it a good sort of color scheme to make it look and fit well as BigTop. And each room filled with the games, each one had like a different flooring and walling. My favorite room probably has to be the Blast Away minigame, as that had lots of blue blocks. Like I'm pretty sure I used lapis, blue concrete powder, blue wool, and blue glazed terracotta. Now, during this time lapse, I attempted, and I say attempted because this isn't still here, attempted to make a block-built version of BigTop, because I know I'm going to need to make one of him in the future for the bedrock port of this map. So, but for the Java one, he will be armor stands. The back hallway, like the upper balcony area, was really fun to do as well, because it just had this connection to the roof. Like the roof would be connected, and it wasn't really interesting in the prop sense, but it was fun to see the roof connect in this big top carnival tent thing. The small little supply closet with the gift in it, I don't know why it exists in the game itself, other than just to fill in an area and add a gift. It was pretty boring to make, not so interesting, but the ceiling was just so fun because it has such a weird shape, and I still had to keep the pattern of the orange and red stripes. Almost said blue then. And it was just quite fun. With the guidance of the outlines really helped. I could have been here for a lot longer if I didn't do that correctly. I also like the iron bars that would be above BigTop, because it was just kind of connecting the entire tent up with all the flags, in the prize wheel room was really fun as well, as it was just a yellow with mangrove in the prize wheel and the lever. It was really interesting. Now, this stair room did have a really weird shape. Like, the shape was, it's not a circle, but it's not an oval either. It's more of like a heart shape. Like, it was in the shape of a heart, I would say. And the staircase I'm lucky to have built as an outline instead, because I knew I would have suffered on the time lapse. Now, the paintings on the wall, I kind of misplaced them at first. So right now where they are, they got moved over later on. I don't know if you can see it in the time lapse, but they aren't actually there. I had to move them over about 3 blocks because they shouldn't have been on the angle. Of course, the BigTop sort of curtains, I would say, on the wall were really interesting because I had to make another design pixel art for the top hat. Yeah, there you go, see me moving over this. But like the moving over the Mystic Hippo was also weird, just about lore reasons, because like Mystic Hippo was first introduced in Help Wanted 2, and we only really see about it in this area, nowhere else. But yeah, this room wasn't all that much fun to build, because it was just basically the same wall pattern of yellow terracotta, and then the one pattern of the BigTop pixel art, and that's probably about it. I did like how I didn't have much problems outlining the BigTop showroom, but the hallways connecting the Storytime showroom and the BigTop showroom, that was the most unfunnest thing I've ever built. They were the weirdest shape, and the props, it was so hard to squeeze it in. That's why some areas are so small and tiny. It just felt weird. And the use of jungle on the ceiling, I don't know what else I could have used, because I don't think the texture fits well, but I do like the, well, color of it. Now, moving on to the sort of area that would lead to the roof access. I had to change the Blast Away minigame's roof to slabs, because the floor, you could see the floor of this room. So there's just like kind of slabs in that room and not any other room, which I am pretty bummed about. I'm bummed about that because I like the ceiling, how it used the cyan terracotta, but this room right here that leads to the roof access, it's just a pretty boring storage room. It's kind of like the first main storage area that we built in episode 1, with just the tough and white walls with boxes, shelves and that. It did have a few vents and pipes on the ceiling, but I don't really, they were really crowded. Like, it was hard for me to not only look at them in the Mimic game itself, Secret of Mimic, but it was hard to place them themselves. Now, the roof access thing, in the game, it teleports you halfway across into the distant void. Now, for this map, I don't know if I want to make this area directly connect to the roof, because the Storytime showroom is taller than that roof access area. I've never explored the exterior myself, so I don't know if we're going to run into any problems there, or I'm going to have to teleport the player up like it does in the game. Now, this office area is kind of like the manager's office, because it's got the oak walls and then the white brick wall and the pattern on the carpet of grey. I would give a more blue tint, but grey's closer in Minecraft than blue. This area just seems very pointless in my opinion in the game. Of course, it does fill up another area instead of just making it a room filled with shelves, but I just don't know why there would be an office next to roof access. Because what work would anyone really do in this office in the lore-wise Mimic game? Now moving on to the Storytime Showroom. Oh boy, was this a really weird building session for me. The Storytime Showroom, the walls aren't really just one color like everywhere else in MCM. It's like an entire art piece. It's not even like the daycare where it's like one color with a few stars and clouds and green hills. It's a full-on pixel art mural on the wall. And it was fun to build at first, but then when I realized how long it was taking me to make each wall, that's when I started getting worried on how long the build would actually take, because I was taking maybe the 4 walls in the Storytime Showroom itself. I felt like I was working on that for at least an hour myself, but I have no concept of time. But the buttons on the wall in this hallway itself kind of helps it, because the eyes on the trees just I don't think they deserve an entire block for their eyes. So I just kind of kept it with buttons. Kind of fits well, but it does sort of clash with all the other buttons. Now here you can see what I mean by how long it took me to make each wall, because I was going through the game and it's hard to see these walls with all of the different props there are hanging down from the ceiling. So lots of the times in this time lapse, I just go on the other side of the wall so the outlines aren't in the way. Now once again I used the acacia for the flooring here, which I think worked out quite well. I really like how it turned out in this room, because it gave me a reason to use the tough block as like the scratched dirt marks on the floor. The Storytime Showroom was kind of just built up of things I have already built, just in different areas. Like, you used the sheep cutout a lot, I noticed. There was a lot of the sheep cutout. Now, these walls are, as you can see here with Amoeba, you go on the other side. But this turned out, I love the walls. I think I'm getting a lot better at pixel art, especially with all the blocks I use for the green. I like how I didn't just use one color or one block, I kind of mix it in. Now, the color of the dragon, and it's kind of like a castle, I liked how it turned out. It was just such a good build, in my opinion, and I don't want to go through it again, honestly. I like how the end result was, but doing it again I would not do. This room was just, no. There were a few things that I didn't know what to do with, like the alphabet blocks. I kind of just went with the oak wood with an item frame and sign on them, and then it was kind of just that I kept copying it. Now, I kind of outlined each wall and tree just so I had a better idea before then adding the rest of the area around it. And the walls, I think this wall took me about an hour to figure out on my own. The Storytime Showroom wasn't as big as I thought it was. Like, I thought it would be something the size of, like, I don't know, Phasoblast or something, but it was actually very, very small. Smaller than I actually would thought. Very short as well. Short and stubby. I didn't expect that. The hole was hard to make because the theater hole wasn't lining up with the one in the Storytime Showroom, so I had to like terraform to make it look why the hole got smaller. Now here's what I'm talking about, the castle. I really like how this castle turned out because you can actually tell what it is, unlike some of my other pixel art, like in Security Breach. There's like a bear. It's Freddy Fazbear, but it looks like a duck. Looks weird, but this is all I have to say, so bye. Now this fully finishes off the first 2 floors of MCM, which I am finally happy to get done, as the BigTop Showroom has to be one of my favorite areas in MCM, same as the Storytime Showroom, and I'm sure if it's actually even, if I can even top these two, maybe the Doll Hospital though. But as you can see, here's the block build version of BigTop. He will be an armor stand in the later episode. In the later of this episode, because right now he's pretty goofy looking. Now, we can walk around each area, like this area where we can play and throw the ball, and we'll be able to get the score. Here's the prize wheel where we'd have to prize and get the prize. Over here would lead to that area, and here's the Blast Away minigame, which has the best music. Now, if we go into these areas, each and every area has a different theme. Like, it's never the same. Like the prize room here, it goes from yellow to orange to red to blue. It's just, they just have a bunch of different colors. And even this present, the present up here, I don't know why it's there, but it is. There, like I said, I would clear this out so the mannequin wouldn't be there, just so there's more than one way to actually get up, because I just think it's more fair that way and more better. Here's the most pointless room with the most pointless present in the game, and I just think this room turned out so well and just couldn't be beaten. Alright, here we have the code that would get to the keypad to open this door that would lead to the roof access. As you can see up here, if we go up to this stair, we would enter the office, which is quite crammed. Very crammed office. We'd have to go over here, and here's the roof access. Like I said, don't know if I want to make it teleport you like in the game, or if I want to try and connect it. I just seem kind of because of the weird shapes of the BigTop and Storytime Showroom. Now, of course, if we'd go to behind this whacker clown, we would make it in these back hallways, and as you can see what I mean by very weird shape, as it's mostly diagonal, and I can't, these are gotta be the most inaccurate versions in MCM. I'm not saying that it's so bad it's inaccurate, I'm just saying it's the most inaccurate place in my build so far, as in it's the least interpreted. It's still very accurate, just not as well as it could have been if I had more space to work with. Here's the room with the generator. This would lead into the Storytime Showroom. As you can see, the hallway, we can lead down here, and we would go up this very weird shaped staircase, and then the straight one into the Storytime Showroom itself, with all of its hanging props and wires, which I think I did it really well. All the clouds and stars midair, and the pixel art on the wall with this castle right here. I just can't get over how good this turned out. I just love the pixel art. I thought it would have been so bad, especially with this dragon and the beanstalk right here. But it turned out so well, and I'm absolutely so proud of how well it turned out. The buttons on the walls, like I mentioned in the time-lapse. This box here that you can't crouch under. This area that you would be able to lift up these stars and crouch under. And that would eventually lead into this elevator right here that goes up into the security office, which does open the door down over here. So if we go down here, and right here is the David's cubby, which you can't actually enter unless you click this button over here, go through this door, and this little kitchen area, and go up these stars, and then you reach this vent, which I've made 1x2 with a smooth stone slab. Here's another present. I think I might use the smooth stone design more often now. We also have this castle area, and over here we can go under here, and we'll be able just gotta break one of these, that one, so now we can go through, and we'll go into this little recording area, where this would be the room that holds the present for the Foxy puppet. And as you can see right there, the present for the Foxy puppet, and this room that you can't actually access in the game, that you need executive permissions for some reason, don't know why. All the hanging things from the ceiling where the moon would have dropped down through the theater, and it does connect surprisingly well. I did have to move the hole about 10 blocks forward, just so it could fit. But I do think it worked quite well with the terraforming of the packed mud and brown mushroom blocks. You can barely see this in the build without flying above it, so I just kind of feel like it's wasted, but I know that it just turned out so well, and you may not be able to see it very well, but it is there, and it's just, I just love builds that interconnect to each other and have more than one way to enter. This room as well, it's just, I love it. Now we are back in the BigTop Showroom, and you can just see him, just there. I have made an armor stand model for BigTop. Try not to spoil it, but you've probably already know the design. But right here, I have heavy inspiration for Cup of Tea's model, as it just turned out so well in my old version of the model. Just my design, just made him look a bit too goofy, and I didn't like it. So here's the arm stand model right here, and he towers over the player with his 4 arms in the box and outside, and he's got his hair right here with the instruments. I don't know what they're called. I know they're from like an old record player type thing. And this model, I think I couldn't have done any better than this. Like, just imagine entering the room and looking at it. Now, first, what I want to show you is in the game, BigTop's head follows you where you move around. Like, if you were to move it, he would follow with you. So, as you can see, I'm just going to type a command in real quick, which is, this is BigTop. Now, I think that's his forearms. I think maybe he's BigTop 6. Actually, I should probably double check that. BigTop, no, he's 8. BigTop 8. Nope, he's BigTop 8. Alright, so then we got to change this from 6 to 8. And then he should be 6 like that. So then rotated ~0. You have to make sure you do this, or then if you change your Y level, he will kind of just start breaking apart. So after you do that, you do run, and then TP your entity. In my case, it would be BigTop 6. So it would be at E tag equals BigTop. Why do I keep making it a capital? BigTop, and then all that arrows, and then facing entity at P, which would make the entity face me. So if I grab a lever and quickly activate this right here and place that, as you can see, BigTop, his head is now following me. The mini arms inside of him aren't, because it would look a bit goofy, but look, he's following me now. Isn't that wonderful? He's just following me. Now, if I were to go up, I'll show you what I mean by he would break. So if I just remove this, no man. Alright, so it's because what I put in the TP commands, it won't break. So if I were to go down into the TP command down here and just remove this on this one, just remove rotated ~0. So if we were to remove this, you will be able to see his arms. Yeah, there it is. It's starting disconnecting from his body. So think of this as an armor stand tutorial from your pal Evan. If I were to go up here, which is you probably will in the game, you can see his arm just disconnecting from his body, which I had a problem for back in July last year for security breach. So just always make sure when you're making armor stand models, in the teleportation commands, always make it have rotated ~0. And now we have the first and second floor of MCM fully done. And the reason I'm doing another thing of this is you may have noticed that I did seem to forget something in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes. I forgot this room that connects this hallway in the Showtime hub to Jackie's showroom. I forgot this a lot, and I finally added it. Same as the one down here for where is it? Not here. The BigTop boss fight. I have forgotten these areas, and I'm always like, in the next episode, I'll build it. And then I release it, I'm like, I forgot to build this area. So now I can officially say these areas are complete. Now in the Storytime Showroom and the BigTop Showroom, we have everything done, including his model, which actually completes the entirety of MCM's public areas. Or, well, some of them, which I'm so happy with, which means that we can finally start working on the basements themselves under MCM. As you can see, it's quite bare right now. So we can start off in the next episode as building Dollie's doll hospital, which the only entrance that I'm going to probably have to start outlining is from here, because the rest of it, you just teleport down there, and I want to get it as accurate as possible. So we're going to start outlining here for the doll hospital, and it'll bring us right down. Thank you so much for watching this episode, as it only took me a week to get this one done, which I am so proud that I actually was able to build these 2 areas within a week. And the next episode, I'm unsure if I'll be able to get Dollie's hospital done in that amount of time. Now, once again, I want to thank you guys for all the support you've been giving me throughout this entire project, and without your support, I don't think I could have done it. Thanks again so much, and of course, I will see you in the next episode of Building Secret of the Mimic in Minecraft Part 6, Building Nurse Dollie's Hospital. Bye!